broadcast. Well, when it comes to going to the gynecologist, many women just want to get it over with without making too much of a fuss. It's uncomfortable. It's just usually not a very pleasant experience. But
well, it depends.
That may mean that something could get missed, if you're not asking all the right questions. So here to help, we have Dr. Darren Tate with us from Texas Health Resources. Good morning.
Morning. Thanks for having me.
So good to see you.
How brave of you to come.
Well,
Right.
here's the thing about
Right.
Dr. Tate is he's
Outnumbered.
used to answering these questions from women in his office, and he was kind enough to agree to come here and answer some for us and for our viewers. So let's just get to the questions. This was a popular one. We took questions from some of our viewers, and they want to know, when do I need my first Pap test?
That's a Pap smear, right?
Yeah.
That's a Pap smear, right. 21, regardless of risk factors. And most people are surprised by that because they drag their 15-year-olds in and they,
So really not until you're 21 years old.
21 is the first Pap test. That's right.
Okay, unless you're having like odd periods or something going on.
21 is the age that we start, regardless of risk factors or symptoms. And the reason for that is that cervical cancer is just so very rare in younger ages, and so there's no reason to screen until they get to 21. Now, they should still come in and talk about other things, birth control and irregular periods and things like that, but the first actual Pap test is 21. And I think we were doing it too early on some girls. We were traumatizing these 14 and 15-year-olds.
Because going to the gynecologist is traumatizing.
It doesn't have to be.
They're not ready at those younger ages, absolutely.
Right, they don't really clearly understand what's going on down there.
Right.
A lot of people who watch are at home with their kids, some of them still having babies, so they want to know, how do they prepare for a pregnancy? What is the best way to prepare?
Yeah, good question. So prenatal vitamins are important. Everybody thinks of them when they find out they're pregnant, but they're actually more important earlier to prevent spina bifida. The folic acid cuts down on that risk, which still happens in the United States, even though we fortify our cereal and all that other stuff. And then vaccinations are important. We've had the biggest whooping cough year ever, and that's devastating to newborns because they have no natural immunity. So immunizing mom, immunizing dad, family members that are going to be around the baby. It's an opportunity to do all those things before the pregnancy arrives, and and then their health. Making sure they're exercising, eating right. All those things are important.
All the preventative stuff.
Absolutely.
And the fitness level, your own health is important, right? To keep your weight at a certain place and.
Yeah, I get that one a lot. Even in pregnancy, we should be exercising. 30 minutes a day, aerobic exercising all the way through pregnancy. We know that it increases blood flow to babies, decreases diabetes of pregnancy. So our moms-to-be and our expectant mothers, everybody should be out there getting their exercise.
Okay.
I
didn't
didn't do anything. I had my son at 40, and that was my first and only child.
And that was a long time ago, too.
Yeah,
so that was maybe riskier
And I
back
gained
then.
56 pounds.
Right.
And I just didn't do anything.
What's the normal
People
amount?
like on
What
the
is
wind.
it? What is
That's
a
right.
normal amount of weight to gain during a pregnancy?
So it varies. Anywhere from 15 to 40 pounds is what we recommend. So there's not, one answer for any one patient. And it really depends on what they bring into the pregnancy. Your heavier women, you want them gaining less, and they can actually lose weight through the first trimester. Babies are.
What?
Sure,
absolutely.
if you get pregnant and you're overweight,
Well, because I
and
know
then you
some
start
women
eating
that
healthy.
are really thin when they get pregnant, and it's like, you need to put some weight on, because that's they need
I
to
was thin. I
be a
was
little heftier.
118 pounds. And I gained 56 pounds, and I craved milk and I craved spinach, and I just did what my body told me.
Right.
And it didn't tell me to do anything.
I crave.
Right, yeah, we got to
I crave beer and pizza.
I think I'll probably crave wine. Okay, this is a question that I'm concerned at, because I just hit 30. When do I need to start checking my breasts and having mammogram? That all makes me nervous, but am I at that age that I need to?
Yeah, it's very controversial. The new recommendation is that women don't check their breast, that we don't teach them breast self-exam. But most doctors are not really comfortable with that recommendation because we all know stories of women that have found their own breast cancer. More importantly would be to find out if you have a genetic risk for breast cancer. There's new testing that if you have more than 2 family members, we can actually test your DNA.
Like Angelina Jolie had done, right?
Absolutely.
When I
BRCA1
look
and
at like
BRCA2. That's right.
Juliana Rancic, who she's probably in her mid 30s, late 30s, and she has already had a double mastectomy, and so I think like, wow, if she hadn't have checked early enough or not, it just
We've all
to
seen
that
that.
age
Yeah.
now.
So mammogram at 40. we're still teaching women to check their breasts. I think it's important to know your body at any age.
Right.
But if you have breast cancer in your family, there's really, really excellent testing that we can get back in a few days. Insurance covers it to let us know if you are genetically at risk for breast cancer.
Wow, that's huge to know that, though, because I think that was a big question if insurance covers it, because it can be quite expensive. So it does cover the genetic testing.
Right, and early there was a concern that people would be dropped off their insurance, but there's actually federal laws in place that prevent that. So
Has
you
this
can't
just happened?
be discriminated. No, this testing's been around for a while, but I think now it's more commercially available. I would say in the last 3 or 4 years, we're doing it on every patient that meets a certain criteria, and it really depends on what age these cancers were at in your family, how many family members had the cancers, what cancers they were. But for women that meet that criteria, it's actually very important to get that.
One thing I want to say is that now, since the Jolie incident, there's so many radio commercials and television commercials about send off, forget your DA, $169 and all that. Those are
get DNA
kind of
testing?
fly-by-night things.
Yeah,
aren't
you got to
they?
be careful about what information you're getting. There's actually only one commercially available lab that's doing the testing.
right.
Is that the Myriad Genetics in
That's right.
Utah? Yeah.
That's right. Myriad is the only one, but they have a rep that goes into all the offices, and we're learning who to screen and who not to screen.
That's
Yeah.
good.
And so the
That's
best
good
people to
know.
ask about if we are interested in this would obviously be our gynecologist.
GYN, family doctors, oncologists, breast surgeons.
Well, Dr. Tate, thank you for being
Yeah,
here.
thank you
Hope
for
you'll
having
come
me.
back.
That wasn't
'cause I know
too
that
terrifying.
we get a
Lots
lot
of
of questions, and we didn't get to all of them, so you'll have to come back then.
Anytime, that'd be
Okay,
great.
you can find Dr. Tate online through our website, dthebroadcast.tv. Just click on today's links.